a little bit about my background. I want to tell you this just because a lot of you I do know, and I've had the fortune of being able to know, but some of you I haven't had the chance to meet. So I want to tell you a little bit about myself so we're not strangers. As you know, and when I'm going to be doing this on the road and from folks all over the place, you know, they're going to be like, where's this guy from? So, as we all know, I am from Ohio. I graduated from Ohio State University, the Buckeyes, and I'm still proud, even though it was a devastating loss. I was about ready to, I was on a riverboat in Wilmington, North Carolina over the weekend looking at some pre-development property. And I was there and I heard about the loss. I didn't have a chance to be on it and I was just devastated. But I'm still a very proud Ohio State Buckeye. To get through school and to be able to travel, which I did in the States, or in Mexico and through South America. Has anyone heard of Cutco knives? Raise your hand if you have. All right, Cutco knives. Does anyone own Cutco knives? Awesome, I love seeing it. I love seeing it. I sold 150 grand worth of paring knives and peelers to be able to pay for school. And I'll tell you what, it was I had some up moments, I had some down moments. I still have scars on my hands. Not too many people can say, yeah, this job that I had during high school and college, you know, I'm scarred. But I had no feeling in my middle finger because of that, but it paid for school, so that's pretty cool. Pretty sharp, yeah, right? Clean cut. So I lived in Mexico for 6 months, graduating. I went through school. That's me in Nicaragua, sitting on a little place where people wash their clothes in the water. That right there is me in Mexico with my beautiful Mexican queen that is right behind me, she's actually enjoying a massage down south, and I was down there. So I enjoy traveling, and this is what we're really all about. All of us right here, we're here, let's face it, we're here not to have a hobby. I'm not talking about model airplanes. We're talking about business. We're talking about how to be able to have money to be able to do the things that we want to do because we want to, not because we have to. Isn't it a lot better to do things that we want to as opposed to doing things that we have to? Yeah. And that's why we're here. Because we want to use real estate in this market, this amazing foreclosure wonderland in which we reside in. And we want to be able to offer that. And this, for me, was my why. In order to be able to do business, any type of business, you need to figure out your why. Mine was being able to travel. Mine also is being able to host philanthropic events. And back in 1998, as a high school junior, I was named the top high school volunteer for the state of Ohio through the Prudential Spirit of Community Awards. It was given out to one student in each state, and I ended up winning it for raising a little bit over $11,000 for a 5-year-old that I met who had leukemia. And it was one of the most amazing things that I had the opportunity to be able to do. And this is something that after I'm done with the money game, which I plan on being done with that and having to worry about in the next several years, I can be able to concentrate full-time on that. Now let's talk about real estate. I got through Ohio State and I went through what I call my quarter-life crisis. Quarter-life, not midlife. Midlife is like, is everything that I've done, did it make sense? Did it make sense? And I say, you know what, I went through my quarter-life crisis and I was like, oh man, what am I going to do? And I decided, you know what, real estate. I'm going to put myself in real estate. My parents are realtors. They're doing their thing, and I know that they're success, but I want to be a real estate investor. So I met Mr. Urbanski. As you can see, this was my first deal in my first 60 days of business. And I'll tell you this was not from any type of special skill or anything, nothing using my Cutco skills, complete luck. 100% luck. But my first 60 days, I did over $33,000, and I never went back to a job again. I never went back to having someone tell me when I was going to go into work. And I'll tell you, it was an amazing feeling. Have I had my ups and downs? Have I wondered, damn, am I going to be going in the ramen noodle aisle again? Am I going to be getting my 8 little noodle packets for $1 again like I did in college? Am I going to be like having my nice car that I bought because I made this $30,000, but then not be able to put in my gas and lean into the car and be like, oh man, hey buddy, can you pick me up? I got this Lexus out here, but I can't freaking take it anywhere. I've been there. But thank goodness I've also been able to say, hey, you know what? I want to hit the market and do what it is that I want to do and position myself correctly. So I started doing these wholesales, but then I realized, look at this, half of all the calls that I was getting off of my bandit signs, off my direct mail, off of all these things, half of them were people that were behind in payments, no equity. Folks that were coming from the death zone, which I call from like Galloway all the way over, right, to the other side of 270. All these folks that are in the 2-1 buy downs that got in. All these folks that had the Ditech 125% over leveraged BS mortgages that now were suffering. So all these folks started calling me. I couldn't buy their house with cash. I couldn't lock it up under contract and have a rehabber fix it up. So what happened? I'm throwing away all these leads. I'm giving away to people not knowing what's going on. I'm just like letting them go through my fingers, not capitalizing on any of them, and telling these poor folks, sorry, I can't help you out. And it was tough. And I said, you know what? I need to figure something out. So I went down, I got some short sale training, I came back up, I was gonna light it on fire, I was gonna make it happen, and guess what? I didn't. I was horrible. I was 0 for 19. I had to do my own deed paperwork, documentation, and make my own trust, and doing all the paperwork and put it all together, and I was horrible at it. I had like files all over the place, and I was like, this is miserable. And I was like, I'm gonna go back to wholesaling. Wholesaling, I don't need to deal with these banks. I don't need to fax in authorization to release forms into Countrywide. I'm done. So I was like, I'm gonna quit. I'm going back to wholesale. Wholesale, I just lock up a contract, call my rehabbers, done, assignment on the HUD, bam, collect it, cash it, and go have fun and go travel. That's what I was gonna do. But I started hearing about this gentleman that's local here that was making things happen. And what I did, I said, you know what, I'm willing to give up half my deal. I'm willing to give up half of my short sale deal in order to be able to be successful and make this thing work. I was able to leverage myself. So that's what I did. So I started to leverage myself, and I started to have some success. And as you can see, and this little thing, I'll tell you, we didn't just say, hey, Brian, let's go get some cash and lay it out on a table. It wasn't anything like that. I ended up having a check that I went, and it was over $10,000 check that I made. I had an issue. I had an issue because I wanted to cash it. I was giving it to it in a certain bank. I brought it to that bank to cash it, and they wouldn't give me a bank check, a certified check that I could go in and then immediately have access. It was going to be held for 10 days or some kind of BS holding period. So I was like, this is ridiculous. I was like, so I have to cash this? They're like, you have to cash it. And I was like, you want me to cash and walk out of your bank, which is supposed to secure people and save people from money, and you want me to bring out this box of cash? And I was like, I was upset. And so I said, I want it in $5 bills. All right? So they end up getting it in $5 bills. That's $10,000 in $5 bills. I walked out in a printer box. I carried it out, and I'll tell you what, it was a great feeling. It was an awesome